Hello, guys. This is Leah Taylor here, excuse me, your host with On Stage Plus LLC. We drop in a lot of knowledge today. I'm here with the infamous Oji Blackston from Enlightened Shadow Production. He is a famous, he's going to be famous, director, and he actually helped work on my film, Villain, which we're going to be talking about today. How are you today, OG?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing, Leah?
I'm doing great, wonderful. Staying inside, trying to stay away from everything and the coronavirus. I want to be away from that. So,
Yes, for
how
sure.
you doing with that?
Oh,
How's
I'm
your
doing good.
family?
Family is doing well. We're practicing distancing, and we're spraying down and sanitizing everything. Even the mail, when it comes in, we spray it with
Oh
Lysol
wow!
and
Now I
all.
didn't think about that.
Yeah, because you think about mail has been touched by a lot of hands. It's coming from all over the world.
That is very
We,
true. They was
we
talking about
spray everything that
groceries.
comes into the house. You spraying
Yes.
your groceries too?
Well, no, they were telling us that we need to wipe down our groceries, but I don't have. I still haven't been able to find any sanitary anything. So I
Really?
holding on to it. The shelves are empty. Every time I go to the store, I can't even get paper towels.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yes.
we've ordered stuff online, and my son ordered some alcohol spray online, and it came.
Oh.
As soon as the boxes came in, I sprayed them down, and we opened them up, and so everybody has a bottle of spray alcohol. And there's a place, I think my wife says Eco Clear. It's called an alcohol that you can buy at a liquor store. And did you know
Oh.
that they
Okay.
said it was 100% proof? And you take that with a little aloe cream or aloe gel and
Uh
mix it
huh.
together, and you have what you need for your sanitizer gel.
Yeah, I've just been using straight alcohol.
There you go. Well,
But
that works. That works.
yes, yes,
Drink
whatever it
some,
takes.
squirt some.
But anyway, I wanted to ask a few questions. I wanted to get started by asking you, what is the defining factor or for you to say yes to a project?
Well, whether or not the project appeals to me is first. Is it of my interest? And will I agree with the struggle? Because every project has a struggle in it. And will I agree with the struggle? That's
Okay,
basically it. Hmm.
okay. So, how did you feel when you read Villain for the first time?
Oh, when I read Villain, I could see that real clear, and the characters and all of that, and just so happened that one of the characters popped out at me as being one of my former students.
Oh yes, I was telling someone yesterday. I actually Ronnie. I was having an interview about Villain, and I was just telling him how everything just fell into place. How you and I reconnected, how we reconnected with Warren, how you brought on some folks for the movie, and then how people are just coming out of the sky actually. So it was crazy, but I'm just thankful that God just made it happen.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. It was a wonderful experience, and I want to thank you for being such a good producer as you were. You
Oh,
had everything organized, and it was really a wonderful experience for everyone involved. Thank you.
oh, well, thank you. So let's see. What did you do to bring the characters out of people?
Well, there's several things that you do with characters. It's called character analysis, and when I use my character analysis, it's like you want to know what the character's main objective is, and that's on and off the scene. What are you trying to get to? What is their goal? And if you find out what their goal is, now they might not meet that goal, but there might be an interruption, which would be another character coming into the scene. But the character analysis is very important, and what it is and how it works, and what is the educational level, the social level, and any kind of tips that you can add to the character and the analysis like that. The off case, what are the externals? What is it that
Okay,
they do? And it includes like what does the character remind me of? Like what
okay,
animal, what texture, what sound, what food, what song. Each of
wow,
those helps to define or give a framework for the character, and you feed this to the actors, and
hmm,
and they'll be able to kind of get out of themselves and become the character. It's called
right,
moving in. And one of the things I used to do is have, when I was doing theater productions, I would have a chair. I'd put a chair on stage, and I have the character walk around that chair until they could understand who's sitting in that chair. Once they understand who's sitting in that chair, then they can sit in the chair.
Oh, see, I like the different techniques that you use. And since people were not here with us when we were filming, can you just tell me another technique that you use actually on villain to bring like the character out of the mom who is actually the villain in the movie?
Well, I think the one of the things that we need to do as directors is to talk to the characters and also whisper in their ear certain things. A lot of times the other characters don't need to hear what you're telling one character. And so when it happens, then you can get a real, true emotional experience or physical experience from the other character. And because they don't know what's coming from that character. I think that one of those ways is to figure out how they can unleash themselves into the moment.
And that is, see, I was telling yesterday in my interview, I was telling that it was just amazing to work with you. I hadn't worked with you in a long time. So, it was refreshing to see how you do your thing because it's definitely different than other people. And I like that and admire that about you.
Well, go ahead.
No,
I was thinking about the project that we worked on before, the Woman to Woman project. I mean, you were amazing. I said, she's a good producer, but I'd like to see her in some more acting. I would like to see you on the scene as producing is one thing, but really coming up with the character. You have done an amazing job when I worked with you. So, yeah.
Wow, I thank you because I don't feel that way. I feel like I'm not that good at acting, but it's all about what other people see in you. So I thank you for that. That's a nugget that I have to take with me.
Well, I think what you say is you keep working towards a goal. You don't give up on the goal until you have been able to physically make the goal. You know what I'm saying? You don't give up. If you want to get to the moon, shoot for the sun. In other words.
Yes. My mom says that all the time.
Yeah.
If you want to get a star, shoot for the moons. And yes, so I definitely agree. So can you tell me what was your favorite part about in Villain?
I think one of the favorite parts was the young men in the park and how a lot of young men wind up in those kinds of situations, sitting around examining who's who and who does what and who's capable of doing what. And I think also we noticed that he was trying to convince other characters to do things that he did. And I think that being able to say, no, I don't want to do that is cool. Is really cool for teenagers. A lot of times I hear children saying, well, I don't know, if you won't do this, you're not going to be my friend.
That's true.
Well, that person is not your friend. Anything of that, you start with that when you wake up in the morning and you look in the mirror, and if you don't see a friend looking back at you, you don't have a friend.
Amen.
Because if you can't love yourself, you cannot love anybody else.
Wow.
And that's why there's a lot of hate in the community, You
be wanting to bring me to tears. Oh, gee, we can't do that. But anyway, we're going to go into the clip. We're going to show the trailer for Villain coming April 17th, It's going to be out Friday on YouTube. So here's the clip for Villain.
Waiting for? Come on, just do it! Do it! Pull the damn trigger!
Shut up.
Pull the damn... Jesse, he tried to kill us. Just pull the damn trigger, Jesse! He just tried to kill us!
For the last time, Daisy. Shut up!
No! I didn't do anything! Do it, Jesse, do it!
Oh!
No, I didn't do anything!
Oh!
You're such a
But to see that, OG.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
Oh, good, good,
Yeah.
good.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm definitely excited about it dropping on April 17th.
Mm-hmm.
I just have a few more questions to ask you.
Okay.
So the next one I wanted to ask is, if your directing career can be summed up in a movie title, what would that title be?
It'll either be 3, 2, 1, cue please, or that's a wrap.
Wow. That's a wrap. Okay, so you had to tell me if it was that's a wrap. Why would you pin that on it?
Well, when we usually finish shooting, that's what we say. That's a wrap. That's the end of it. We've done it, and we can move on to the next project. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
All right. So with that being said, can you tell us about any other projects that you have working? Once we're able to be released from our homes, what projects do you have going on?
Well, the next project that I'm working on that we have basically have halted work on it is George Band's "I Hate Cancer," which is a music video.
Uh
He
huh.
asked me to direct that for him, produce it, and so that was in process. As you know, he worked on it with me so far, and so everything came to a screeching halt. So once we get back to that and get that worked on and finished, and then I want to extend, because what I do is on a regular basis, when I wake up in the morning, always have these dreams and these ideas coming through my head while I'm sleeping. So I have a little sticky pad beside my bed that I get up and write things down. And I put them in a folder, and that's my future scripts folder. And I have a folder that's full of ideas that I want to work on.
Hmm.
So we have lots of stories that we need to tell, lots of history, and lots of future that we have to look at and plan for our future as we grow as a group of people.
Well, I believe you.
Hmm.
If someone was to ask you, someone who's trying to get into directing, what would be a piece of advice that you would give to them?
Well, I think that my advice is to first of all learn what it's all about. What do you need to do? How do you talk to people? How do you relate to people? How do you come up with ideas? Observe nature, observe people. In your brain, you create. If you do it, taking notes or something, just watch how people react. You have to watch people and how they react to different situations. So when you get to working on a movie, directing a play or a movie, whatever, then you can add that. So you just watch and alert, and it's like saving money. You save money to buy a house, save money to buy a car, you save information to direct people, because they'll get to a point where I don't know what to do and I don't know what to say. Well, that's when you start building from the inside out. That's when we start with the analysis and start with the situation. You have to read the script first. And then when you read the script, to me, when I read the script, I'm usually sitting in a bathtub. And when I'm in that bathtub, the rhythm and the movement of the piece comes into my head. And then I can think about it, the music that goes along with all of that. And the rhythm of the piece comes into play. And everything is like drum beats. It's like drum beats. And the drum beats, you want to know, okay, how do we solve the problem? How do we solve the struggle? It's after I read the script. In every script, there's a struggle of some sort. It's a love affair, it's a battle, it's some kind of a struggle. And so how do people really handle that struggle, and how do they overcome the struggle? And so that's the ending. So you have to realize that in the play, you start with the beginning of it, or any production, you start with the beginning of it, where you identify the environment, what's going on, the sounds, and all of that's located. And then you move up to what's called the climax. What's that climax? And then you come down to the resolve. What's the end of it, and how was it completed? And sometimes when you're starting with a piece, sometimes the people don't end up in the resolve. They get demolished sometimes in the climax because they might be the villain or whatever. And so we have to make sure that we complete the episode. I mean, in the older days, they used to have something called a cliffhanger, right?
Oh
Where they would
yes.
stop the production and, okay, return with us again, and you'll see what happens to Johnny Smoccarello or whoever his name is. And so we wanted, and they're trying to do that now. When you look at it, they're trying to do those. When you look at what's on YouTube, not on YouTube, but on Netflix and all of that, they're showing you productions, but you come to a certain point, you have to stop and you have to look at the next episode, the next episode, the next episode. So they're going back to that. But when you look at a full-length movie, you want to be able to go through the whole thing and listen to it, listen to the characters, define the environment, and then make sure all the pieces kind of fit in however they're supposed to fit into the puzzle.
Okay. Very well put. Very well put. How important is it, especially in independent movies, how is important it is to have a producer aside from, like before, not, excuse me, not a producer, a director, besides the writer, producer, everybody to have on a different hat? How important is that in the film
Well,
success?
I think that's like it's like playing football or some kind of game. If you have a team and the team members can bring things to it, because sometimes when you sit down and when you do your play or your TV or whatever you're going to do, you sit down after you've read it and done your thing. If I've read it and done my thing right, I want to sit down and I want to describe what the big picture is like. I
Okay.
describe the big picture, and then the elements come up with, oh, okay, and I can add this and I can add that. And then clarity becomes to the project. When you have that clarity, everybody knows what they're doing, everybody knows their job, and the better they do their job, the better the production. In the past, I've done productions, and I tell everybody, learn everybody's lines. Learn everybody's lines. Particularly, I had a play that I did. It was called Short Eyes years
Uh,
ago, and one of my players in there, he was he was from just coming into California, and he hung out. He got the part because he just worked for the part very well. He learned all the lines, and then he told me he was going to L.A., hang out, do some work down in L.A. Next thing I know, like about a month later, he called me back and told me he is co-starring with Clint Eastwood. And
oh,
I
okay.
said, "Well, what happened?" He said, "I did what you told me. I was one of the people in a cast on a play. I learned all the lines of everybody, and then the person who was a co-star dropped out, and they had a problem finding a
Oh,
co-star. And I told him I know the part, and he just stepped into
wow.
the part. So you never know what kind of opportunities. That was the movie was Sudden Impact, and you never know what you're going to do if you follow along certain. The thing is what I do. Like my grandkids and my kids, I tell them I have a lot of scars on my body. Each scar has a lesson and a story. And if I give you the lesson without you having the scar, that'd be better for you. And that's called
Mm,
wisdom. We call it, as
right.
we get older, we call it being wise. But I say, well, look at this one, for instance. And I'll say, okay, you see this one here? Oh, my sister did this one. Or,
Right,
and I was
right.
messing with her, and I should have been messing with her. And she picks up an antifreeze can and threw it at me, and that's the scar. I say, well, this other scar here, this is from my other sister, and that scar was my sister was cooking in the kitchen, and I asked her could I taste what she was fixing, and she said no, and I didn't like the way she told me no. So when I got my chance, I took my fist and I hit her in the back hard as I could,
Ooh.
and I realized that I hit her too hard, so I had to make my escape, right? So I ran out the door. When I ran out the door, she came up behind me and she had the broom like a spear. And she threw the broom at me and it went between my legs and I fell on the cinders and split my nose open.
Oh
And so
no.
I tell my children, I tell them it's necessary for you to have scars and you learn lessons. But if I could give you the lesson without the scar, then you'll be better off. But
Right,
sometimes they
right.
don't take the lesson, they go get the scar anyway.
Well, especially as kids, I know I did that a few, maybe more than a few times.
I
Yeah.
have been I have been working in television for a while, back in the 90s, 80s it was. we were working, Warren and I were working a show called Business in the Black, where we go interview Black businesses. And I also had a California Arts Council grant. I was a artist in residence at the East Bay Center for the Performing Arts, where we did productions with a community group that I formed called 11th Street Players. And I also worked at the Berkeley Black Repertory Theater, directing and producing plays there. So I also worked with the International Theater Festival in Baltimore, where I was brought in to be one of the production people there. And I work with groups from Spain and Italy and Australia and South Africa and the National Theater of Israel, Habiba. And so when you work around different people, you sort of gain knowledge. And I'm always open to work. I worked at the Berkeley Shakespeare Festival also as a house manager. I worked at the Victoria Theater San Francisco as the house manager over there, and also stage manager. So the different parts, and if you learn different parts, and as you go through it, and you just get better at it, you know. And I'm not afraid to also work on the set, because at Nystrom, I was working as elementary school there. We had the magnet program, where we had children working in theater and doing plays, and we did a number of plays with the students, and the kids did great jobs there. They also helped build sets and build flats and paint. You know, I would draw the outfit, I'd draw on the flats and tell the students what color I wanted in certain areas, and the kids basically painted the whole set. And so it's just of what part you want to play in it. Because when I was going to San Francisco State, I worked also what they call that work study program with the theater department there, where I was doing different plays and working with different people and stage managing, you know. Some of the people that you might know right now. I work with, like Annette Benning is one of the people that work there. And I work with Brown Bag Theater as a director. And a lot of times, you know, you just have to overcome whatever obstacles there are to make sure that the production is complete and done. So, yeah.
Okay, you have an extensive background, that is for sure. Mm, definitely. But it was wonderful talking to you. I love talking to you. I feel like I gain wisdom each time.
Okay.
Can you please let us know where people can find you? How can they contact you if they have a script that they want you to look at and possibly work with you?
Okay. They can email me at OjiSam, that's OJISAM at sbcglobal.net. That's my email address. Or they can write me at Oji S. Blackston or African Broadcasting Company at 1350 P.O. Box 1350, Richmond, California, 94802-0350. Okay. Well, thank you. I hope
Right.
I hope that I answered your questions.
Yes, absolutely you did. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, you're welcome. You take care.
You
Stay safe.
too. Okay, you too.
All right.
Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.